Hey, this is Tim Derling. Welcome to Tim's Vinyl Confessions and welcome to an album in review where I take a classic album, talk about it for a couple of minutes, and we're going back to 1990 for this album, for the first live album from one of the biggest stars to come out of Canada in the 80s, in Canada, of course, Kim Mitchell, with solo from Max Webster with an EP in 82. Really hit it big in 84 with the Kimbo logo, and I think got even a little bigger in 86. Was Shaking Like a Human Being, and then 89 he put out Rockland. Those were, except for the EP, which weirdly didn't certify, even though it's so really good. Those three albums that Kim put out, all platinum sellers in Canada. He was a major rock star by the end of the 80s. And so I guess it makes sense that in 1990 a live album came out, and it is this one, I Am a Wild Party. And this one is kind of, it reminds me a little bit of Y&T's Open Fire. It's just a single album. It's only got 8 songs on it, and one of them is a brand new song. So, yeah, it's an interesting collection. It's omitting quite a few songs. Could have been a longer album. I mean, he had enough, to put a double album out. To this day, there's never been a double live Kim Mitchell live album. And, if you grew up in Canada and you're like me, you've seen Kim Mitchell at least a couple of times in concert, and he always delivers. He still sounds good. Saw him a couple of years ago. But, I Am a Wild Party was the single. It's a silly song, but it's fun. It's heavy. And he had the video for it featured, this was pretty ahead of its time. He had a contest on Much Music that summer in 1990 for fans to submit a video of themselves at a party. This required the big video cameras and VHS tapes. They sent them all in, and he edited together a lot of that footage for the video to this song. Kind of a neat idea and kind of ahead of its time. Now, it would be no big deal to do this, but back in 1990 it was kind of a pioneering thing. Now, something that passed me by when I first heard this album is the fact that he does Battle Scar on here, which of course was from the final Max Webster album, Universal Juveniles. Now, I was already a dyed-in-the-wool Rush fan at this point, but it didn't occur to me that what I was hearing on here was a song that was originally recorded along with Rush, because it was years before I got into Max Webster. So the parts that his bass player Peter Fredette are singing, the high parts, I didn't realize those were Geddy's parts for many years later until I heard the original version. And speaking of Max Webster, the first song on side 2 is also a new song, but it's live. It's called Deep Dive. And years later, when Max Webster put out their box set, this original version of Deep Dive, which is way faster and way more innovative, appeared on that box set. But here it is in a kind of a slowed down version. Other than that, it's got Rock and Roll Duty, All We Are, Go for Soda, Kim Mitchell, I'm a Wild Party. Check it out. Thanks for watching an album in review on Tim's Vinyl Confessions.